Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. This week we are doing a free challenge, Manifesting 101. I'm doing it over in a private Facebook group and through email. So if you're interested in being part of this series, head on over to sashadavis.com/manifesting101 to join now. It's completely free. We're going to be talking about how to get clear on what you want, what is the law of attraction, how to manifest thoughts into reality, and what could potentially be stopping you from having the things that you desire in your life right now. So I'm going to break this down into 5 days. The trainings are less than 15 minutes. Everybody has the opportunity to earn points, and points are entries for prizes. So we're going to be giving away cash and gift cards and books and journals and all of these things that people just love in their personal development journey. So if you're interested in signing up for this free challenge, again, head on over to sashadavis.com/manifesting101. Otherwise, you can always hit me up on Instagram or Facebook. I also have the link in both of those bios. So today, as my gift to you and for the remainder of this week, you're going to get the replays of the trainings. But if you would like to be an active participant in this course, I really encourage you to head on over and sign up now. Recording. I've had a lot of people say like, oh my God, this is exactly what I need. This is exactly what I wanted. Like, I love the energy. This is just making me like feel great. And so that's exactly what we want to do here. We want to get you guys feeling really good. So let me know if you feel like this is exactly what you needed to, because I love to hear that feedback. It's like the momentum feeds the momentum, right? So where your focus goes, your energy flows, all of those things. So I love the feedback because it just lets me know that like I'm in the right space too. So thank you guys for hopping on. Brandy, looks like a few of you guys are here. Today we are going to talk about resistance. So we figured out what we didn't want, which in turn we figured out what we do want. And then we created affirmations around that so that we can say with certainty what it is that what we wish for, what we desire in our life. So now the tricky part comes because our brains aren't hardwired this way. Even though it should be easy peasy, our brains automatically default to the negative. And it's no fault of yours. It is no fault of yours. We always have that safety feature kind of back here saying like, what if things don't work out? Like we always think about worst case scenario. Like think about it. If you're trying to get a hold of somebody, like say your parents or your kids, and they're not answering their phone, like immediately you're like, oh my God, worst case scenario, they're dead in a ditch somewhere. It's normal. It's completely normal to feel that way. And so today I want to set you guys up for success on how you can start to release resistance, stop the self-doubt, stop the self-sabotage so that you can keep going with your wish list, with your desires, keep going after the things that you want and keep your energy levels high so that you can keep attracting that stuff to you. So again, today we're going to talk about resistance, how to move through it, how to set yourself up for success, and how to protect your energy. And actually, we're going to really focus on how to protect your energy tomorrow. So definitely check back on day 5 because you want to protect your energy in multiple ways. So today, resistance, doubt, self-sabotage. Those are going to be the 3 things that I really want to talk about today. And if you know what I'm talking about, if you are guilty of this, like drop a hand below, give me a thumbs up. Me, I know that I'm super guilty of this. Self-sabotage is probably the number one thing that comes up for me when things are going really well. I'm always like, oh, something's going to happen. Something's going to not work out. Like wait till everything fails, wait till, I don't know, or I get really angry and I make up things in my head that aren't actually true. Because I'm uncomfortable. Right. And I'm good at saying you start to believe those old stories that you tell yourself, right? Like you don't deserve this, you're not good enough, blah, 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 blah. And so it's easy to think those thoughts. Sometimes it's hard to choose the better feeling thought. And so then that's where the self-sabotage creeps in because we have these hardwired habits that we're trying to change. Yeah. See, like I'm guilty too, man. Like you're not alone. And so today I want to give you some words of inspiration and some tips and some tricks that have worked for me to kind of rewire my brain to think better feeling thoughts more of the time. Okay. So Resistance can really show up in many forms. Yes. Okay. So I'm not alone. I really appreciate the comments here. Lack of motivation is a form of resistance. So if you ever like feel, oh, I want to do this thing, and you're taking inspired action and taking inspired action, and then all of a sudden the inspired action stops because things start getting hard again. So you have to take a step back and be like, okay, in order to push myself back, you have to lean in and push back on that resistance. So don't let lack of motivation stop you. Another one is questioning yourself. Like, is this really for me? A lot of times people will be like, oh, I want this big elaborate thing. And then when things don't fall into place the way that they think they should, they start to question, is this really for me? Is this supposed to happen? Is the universe telling me something? And I always say, like, go with your gut. Like, if it feels wrong, it's probably wrong. But if it still feels right and you're just hitting obstacles, keep going. Like, sometimes the universe is literally just testing you to see how bad you want it. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? So like if you're working on like being peace and calm and all those things, all of a sudden you're going to find all these hateful people coming at you to try to test your patience. And so like, how bad do you want inner peace? How bad do you want inner calmness? You have to put your blinders on and don't let those distractions stop you. Okay. So don't question yourself. Another thing that really gets people bogged down is trying to figure out all of the teeny tiny steps along the way. So don't get caught up in the how. A lot of times we want to control all environments, and it's because we feel out of control on the inside. So try to let go of the how, because majority of the time it ends up working out in a way that we could have never imagined, right? I'm sure you've had this example where you're like, oh, I really want this thing. I really want this thing. I really want this thing. I'm going to make this thing happen. I'm going to make this thing happen. I'm going to make this thing happen. And then boom, it ends up happening in a different way, or it ends up happening in a way better than you could have imagined. You're like, wow, I'm really lucky. It's not luck. You let go of the how and just watched it happen. Okay. The last thing, or no. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about is doubt. So this is either self-doubt, or you're letting other people get into your head about what you want to do. And I'm telling you, there's not going to be anybody on this planet that wants to do the things that you want to do more than you. And so I always say to people, if they don't want the exact same goal, if they're not in the ring with you, if they're not in the arena with you, letting go of control is the hardest. But don't let other people's opinions control how you think, act, and feel about your goals. I know this is easier said than done, but this is where you really got to put your blinders on. So for me, I'm a horse person. I don't know if there's any other horse person in here. If there are horse people in here, or if you love horses in some way, shape, or form, like drop me some horses. But if you think of a carriage horse, right, they have blinders on so that they're not being distracted by all of the other things that are going on. So if you have your goal in clear sight, you got your blinders on, you're not going to pay attention to what the other people think, say, or do, right? Because you are so focused on achieving this goal, and you're just like, nope, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to keep taking inspired action. I'm going to let go of resistance. I'm going to let go of control. I'm not going to worry what other people do, because that's wasted energy. Again, we're going to talk more on protecting your energy tomorrow, but that is a huge energy leak, wasting time and concern and worry on what other people think about what it is that you're doing. Okay. I really get caught up in this, especially strangers, right? Like if somebody like a troll comes by and they're like, what do you think you're doing? Or if like our parents or our friends or things like that, they say like, oh, didn't you do this? Or didn't you say you were going to do this instead of this? Don't let any of those people's opinions affect what it is that you want. So don't let doubt creep in any way, shape, or form. Okay. Just know that that will happen and choose differently. The last one is self-sabotage. So this is where things start to get really good. And you're almost like, oh, well, when's the bad shit going to happen? Or you start to feel like, well, I'm not worthy. Like my story was always like, well, I'm a big piece of shit. Like something bad's going to happen. This is all going to be taken away. Or you have like imposter syndrome where you're like, I don't really deserve this. Like, who am I? Who am I to have this? Another thing is sometimes we have like a lot of like pent up energy in us and we're not sure where to go. And so it can come out in fear. It can come out in anxiety. It can come out in yelling and anger. And so my go-to is always anger. And I know that about myself. I'm a very high energy person. And if I don't find a way to like release that, I will self-sabotage myself by like yelling, screaming, throwing things. Like I literally end up being a toddler, like tantrum. I know sometimes that sounds crazy and people can't visualize it, but like I can get pretty hot headed, and I let that self-sabotage kind of ruin what progress I've done. And I don't even want to say like ruin, because it's just like a couple steps back. And then I have the emotional intelligence and the self-awareness now to be like, oh yeah, you're sabotaging yourself right now, Sasha. Like pick yourself back up and keep moving forward. This is just another roadblock, right? I still want to get to my destination. I just may take a couple of detours on the way. And that is totally fine. As long as you can get from point A to point B, you may take the scenic route, you may take the interstate, it's whatever works for you. Sometimes you'll end up in a town and they're like, highway's closed, go around. You're still going to get to where you're going. You just don't necessarily know. I'm glad I'm not the only one that's a toddler. You just don't necessarily know all the detours that you're going to hit along the way. You just know like, I'm starting here and this is where I want to be. And I'm just going to keep on going. Okay. So today I really want you to focus on like letting go of the control, surrender to the experience, and just like think of yourself like in a Sims game. This is another thing that I do. I look at my life from like an aerial view. So pretend you're like in a drone or you're on a Sims game or something like that. And you have an outer view of what your life looks like. Okay. Sometimes if you take it out of your own head, take it beyond your ego, you can see things for what they really are. Okay. So just experience it. Pretend like you're watching a movie and be like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen next. I wonder what this person is going to do. Just surrender and enjoy it. Okay. Another thing that I want to say to you is have some fun along the way. I feel like we take our goals and our dreams and our hopes and all these things that we wish to accomplish in our life, we take them way too seriously. We get way too caught up in the planning and the how and this and that we can create added stress and anxiety on ourselves by doing something that we really want to do. So if you take away nothing from this video, the one thing that I wish that you would take away, if you listen to nothing else, the one thing is have some more fun, laugh more, smile more, play more. It is supposed to be fun. Don't get so wrapped up in all of the rest of the stuff. Have more fun, laugh more, watch silly cat videos, make jokes, do whatever you need to do just to have some more fun. Okay. You guys, when you loosen your grip, enjoy life, stop white knuckling everything, really, things start to naturally fall into place. And I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about here too. So what I want you to do is think of a time where you had a goal and you're like, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do this thing. And you were like, push, 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 push. And it wasn't happening. And then all of a sudden, once you were like, I give up. As soon as you gave up, you surrendered to the experience. You're like, I'm at the mercy of whatever. It's going to happen if it happens. And then guess what? Boom. Like magic, except for it's not really magic, it happens every single time. Every person I've ever talked to has been like, yeah, I really wanted this thing. I really wanted this thing. And I really wanted this thing. And it didn't happen the way I wanted it to. And it didn't happen the way I wanted it to. I tried to control the whole experience. Well, when you try to control things, you're not really letting go. You're fighting the resistance. Okay. And so what I want to say to you is just come up with the what. Don't worry so much about the how. Take the next inspired action step, okay? And then just surrender and have some fun. You want to feel good. Focus on feeling good. Okay, so homework for today. Homework for today is figure out what your resistance looks like, what your self-sabotage looks like, or what your doubt looks like. So how do you experience resistance and what does that look like for you? Sometimes if we can bring awareness to what history has already taught us about what we do, we can prevent it in the future, or we can choose differently. We can consciously say like, hey, I know I'm going to do this, so I want to bring awareness to that and then figure out what my next step is. So for me, what I have done is I will set reminders on my phone of my goals or of my triggers. I will set Post-it notes all around my house. I've put them on my computer. I've put them on my walls. I've put them on my mirror. And I say like, breathe, let go, have fun, whatever that looks like. Okay. Set reminders for yourself throughout the day to bring it back to that awareness, bring it back to that awareness, bring it back to that awareness. And it's practice makes progress. Okay. You're not going to get this overnight. Just like our goals, it may take you, it may take you 2 days to figure it out. It may take you 2 weeks to figure it out. It may take you 2 years. I don't know what your timeline is. It depends on how hardwired you are into your current belief system, but practice makes progress. So you have to trick yourself into making conscious effort into choosing better feeling thoughts. So raise that vibration, raise that level of emotional intelligence. I've done it before where I've like, okay, so I have bracelets here and these mean stay grounded, right? Breathe, stay grounded. I also have some that say, they mean abundance. I've literally wrote on my wrist before, like breathe, be calm, whatever it is. You are worthy. It's again, going back to those statements. So figure out what your resistance looks like and then come up with how are you going to rewire your brain to choose better feeling thoughts? Are you going to put Post-its up around your house? Are you going to have like a symbolic bracelet? What does it look like for you? You're going to set reminders in your phone. Okay. The last thing that I want you to think of is a time where you just gave up. You were like, I'm done. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Come up with a time in your life where you have just completely surrendered and then the experience just went boop, came right to you. So I'm sure you can think of a time in your life. If you struggle with this, think of what you need to let go of in your life right now. So what do you need to loosen the grip on? Okay. So if you can't think of an actual surrender experience, think of something that you do need to let go of right now. Yay. Hey guys, I see you guys all popping on. So again, homework for today. Figure out what your resistance looks like. Okay. Number 2, come up with a way to trigger your thoughts, to choose better feeling thoughts, come up with a system to bring awareness to that, right? And then number 3, write about an experience that you've had where you just completely surrendered and whatever it was that you wanted came right to you. And if you can't think of an experience that you've recently had or one that doesn't come to mind, I want you to ask yourself, what do I need to let go of right now to bring more goodness into me? Okay. Sometimes when we let go of the control, everything flows into our life. So I am so excited for tomorrow, for day 5. Tomorrow, day 5, we're going to talk about creating the support system that you need. We're going to talk about protecting our energy and next steps from there. So who knows, I might do another bonus giveaway for tomorrow. I was so inspired to do that this morning. I was like, you know what? I feel like giving away a gift card today. So check back for tomorrow. Prizes there's a couple other prizes and there's like a journal and a notebook, but otherwise like the gift cards and cash amounts will progressively get a little bit more. So check back for tomorrow. Make sure you're doing your homework, post in here, encourage the other women in the group too, because momentum creates more momentum creates more momentum. And we want to keep those energy levels high. I know you guys are loving this stuff. I've seen your comments. I've seen your DMs. Thank you for showing up and doing the work this week. It just means so incredibly much to me that I can help people with this. This is something that, again, that I've been practicing for many, many years. And if you have specific questions about your scenario, your desires, please just drop them in here. Let me know. I'd be happy to answer. And then next week, we're going to do some hot seat coaching before we kind of wrap up this challenge. So stay tuned for that. If you're interested in hot seat coaching, just simply put hot seat in here and I will reach out to you. We'll probably do 2 days and we'll see who comes on. What I'm going to do is like a live Zoom call similar to this. You guys are going to be invited. I'm going to record it so you can watch the replay and you guys can see firsthand how I can help people choose better feeling thoughts and maybe let go of some of that resistance or those like what ifs or self-doubt, things that kind of come up when we're like, is this really possible? Yes, it is really possible. Let me show you how. So I hope you guys have a kick-ass day and I can't wait to see you tomorrow. All right. Mwah, mwah, mwah. See ya. Thanks for listening to the Sasha Davis podcast. For more information on personal and professional development, we've created a master list of all of the resources discussed in the podcast and the blog. So head on over to sashadavis.com/resources for our full list.